Okay, data scientists, we are back, SPLs, Scholar Practitioner Leaders, for our final lecture here in week one for our fall, as you can see, our fall 2025 Statistics for Data Science, section MSDS 531 A01 for our first fall by term. Okay, now what I want to do is go ahead and close out that one assignment, that instructions as far as the assignment for the drills within R on importing and plotting data and findings. So that was going to be, well, it's actually going to be a phenomenal assignment, guys, that I just spoke on. So I just want to make sure that we're crystal clear on the drills within R on importing and plotting data and finding the distribution measures. Okay, so I just talked about that, went over in great detail. Just be mindful. Again, that assignment is all about following directions. Now, I didn't go over it step by step because I want you, as data scientists, to make sure you adhere to the three areas that I'm talking about in the assignment. Okay, I want to see where you guys are at right off the bat in week one in regard to following directions. You remember what I said? The first part of the assignment is the overview on what it's about. And it's all about looking at plain text, looking at the text R command, right? I gave you that hint. Okay. And then part two was going to be looking at a data file. And then part three is where now you're going to have to answer three areas in part three. Same thing with part two. There's three areas in that data file that you're going to be looking at that I want you to give me what I'm looking for. Okay. So you're going to be using software, and you'll see when you read it, it's pretty straightforward for sections two, and then same thing with section three. Okay. So you're going to be using the index of data sets. I've already given you, as I previously mentioned, the data sets that you can pull from. So it's your discretion. So I want you to enjoy. And that's the good thing about our course, guys, here in statistics. Do not let the word statistics scare you. This course is fun, 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 fun. It's all about, as I mentioned earlier, you guys being creative, really extrapolating data. Okay. You guys are all data scientists. You guys are the cream of the crop. That's why you're in my course. So have fun, and be creative, but yet also make sure that you are very neat when you're presenting your data. Everything is not just thrown on a page sloppy. I want everything in APA formatting. It has to be formatted nicely because you're giving it to, I'm your client. Look at me as a client, okay, when you're presenting your overall presentation of your findings from your data, your content. You put everything in APA format, your content. This is what I inferred from all the data extrapolation. This is what I did when I actually did my deductive reasoning. You're going to come up with credibility and validity. That's when you have your in-text citations, right? To give your work credibility and validity, right? Because as data scientists, you just don't want to present a lot of at a graduate level because we're all at the graduate level, right? So when you're presenting something, you got to give me some type of credibility behind your work. And that's where you come with the in-text citations and references. I want to see validity on what you're saying. Yeah, you extrapolated the data. Yeah, you did all your deductive reasoning, but where is the reasoning? How are you giving me reasoning on why you did it? Okay. So I want to see people who came behind you or before you, right? How they did it. So you add that credibility, thus the in-text citation to validate your work. Then you have a reference, okay? That's credence and credibility. That gives your work clarity, okay? So there's clarity, credibility, and credence, the three C's, okay? The only way you get those three C's is by having an APA scholarly in-text citation, thus a reference at the bottom of the page, because you're referencing somebody who came before you. You're just taking it to the next level with your extrapolation and your deductive reasoning. But you got to give credence and credibility slash overall credence behind what you're doing. So credence, credibility, and overall just good context on what you're speaking on. And that's what it's all about. Okay. Alrighty. So that's assignment 2. Again, that's going to be the drills within R assignment, which is going to be wonderful, guys. You're going to get very familiar real quick with the R tool in week 1. So drills within R on importing and plotting data and finding the distribution measures. Huge assignment right there, guys. And just so that you know, to be on the safe side, so you know going in, that assignment is going to be worth 80 points. So the first one is worth 10 points. Remember, I mentioned to you this week is worth 160 points right off the bat. So that's this is a great assignment right off the bat, all about following instructions, okay? And that's what I want to see. So you're going to have 3 outputs there that I'm looking at, and 2 of those outputs have 3 areas that you got to look at each that I want to see, okay? And that's worth, again, that's going to be worth 80 points. So that's huge, okay? So we know now that the final assignment, if we already got 90 points, how much is that going to be worth, okay? So it's got to be, 70 points, right? Yes, it is. So the last assignment is going to be a project. It's called Project 1, our first project during our time together for this 8 weeks. We're going to have several projects, guys. You're going to appreciate that, data scientists. But this is Project 1. It's all about data quality issues, okay? So, and I like when you have issues and problems or whatever, because that's what we do as data scientists. We streamline things, we make things efficient, okay? So this project, once again, it's all about following what? Instructions. And that's the number one thing about being data scientists, guys, following things step by step, taking things, cutting it into pieces so we can get to the end result. Okay. You just can't jump in and just think you're going to extrapolate it. No, you got to take sections at a time, sections at a time, sections at a time. And then when you do that, then you can infer your extrapolations from your deductive reasoning till you get your final inference, okay? And you'll see how everything comes together in the end when you do your inferencing. After you do all your data extrapolation, you cleanse your data, you extrapolate the data, then you're going to actually do your deductive reasoning where you give it credibility, credence, as I mentioned earlier, for clarity, right? In context of clarity. So credibility, credence, and overall clarity in regard to context. So that way, your deductive reasoning talks about what you're talking about, and you're referencing someone who came before you as well. So that's a great thing, guys. So as scholar practitioner leaders, as scholars, that shows the scholarly piece of your work. Like, oh, he's not just talking, he actually has credibility, credence, because someone also, he's referencing someone else who's already done it as well. That makes you look great as a scholar, practitioner, leader. Always remember that, guys. Here at the graduate level for the rest of your life, you guys are graduate students. You're not undergrad no more. At our level, everything got to be heightened. Eyes are always going to be on you to see if you know what you're talking about. Always know that. And the way you validate that is by giving yourself credibility in regard to clarity and credence. That way you'll never lose, okay? Credibility from people who came before you in context of what you're working on currently validates your work. Thus the in-text citations, references, you put those in, a minimum of 3 guys on everything you do. And just make that a rule of thumb for the rest of your career, your careers. Always do a minimum of 3 in-text citations, because if you do 2 or 1, you're just going back and forth. But if you do a third one in there, now, hey, okay, he got 3 of these bad boys. And that's just the minimum. The more you give me, the better. So always be mindful of that. I'm always open to more. And that's my nickname, Dr. Moore. So Dr. Mark, Some people call me Dr. Moore because I don't want more, but I'm always open to more. So the more you give me, I never have a number count. Hey, elaborate, elaborate, elaborate. Okay. Okay. So this final assignment, guys, this is another good assignment. It's all about following instructions. You're going to enjoy this assignment as well. It's a project. So it's all about issues that's happening, data quality issues. Okay. And all you need to go through is just follow my step by step directions. And then guess what? You will not lose. You will always win because you have learned how to follow concise directions in a statistics course. So the project is mostly based on issues with data quality, since more carefully, Chapter 2, Data and Sampling Distributions from Practical Statistics for Data Scientists. You're going to cover in this project the following, okay? There's several areas I want you to look at, and it's all going to be based on 4 areas, okay? I'm not going to read those 4 areas. I want you to answer those 4 areas. You're going to put them in. Now, I didn't specify APA formatting, but I want you to put it in A format, put everything in context. So when you look at it, you know, okay, Dr. Mark always wants everything in APA formatting. Yes, I do. Format, format, format. So do a great job. I'm always about APA. Give me the minimum of 3 in-text citations. You'll see that when you look at this assignment, guys. You're going to appreciate that. Again, scholarly writing is everything for me and for you, because not only do you understand the statistical side and extrapolating data, but now you got to present that to the world to understand your work. Okay. So be mindful of that. Always do your content, do your work as a scholar, practitioner, leader, but also, hey, I want to make sure I can present this at a high level where people actually understand what I'm saying, not just throw a bunch of arbitrary numbers out there and I'm the only one who can actually decode it. And then your audience is somewhat lost. So always enjoy presenting your data in a nice scholarly manner, okay? And then putting everything in APA formatting, making sure that you utilize your screenshots, putting titles, put notes at the bottom of your screenshots. All that's going to be in my template that I'm providing you guys. So I'm making everything really structured, real easy for you. All you got to do. Oh, and by the way, make sure you always provide paragraphs. Haha. And you'll see that in the template. 4 sentences always equal a paragraph. Don't give me 2 sentences and then go to another paragraph. A paragraph is always 4 sentences. Okay. Now you can have bullets. I get it. Maybe an opening sentences and maybe 3 bullets talking about something. Okay. I get it. That's a paragraph. But typically 4 sentences is always a paragraph. Do a wonderful job with that, guys. That's right. Make sure you always indent your first sentence, right? Thus, it's a paragraph, not just 4 lines or 5 lines. That's not a paragraph. A paragraph is sentences. The first sentence is always indented, and then you got 3 other sentences, which equals 4. Okay, really straightforward, guys. And like I said, if you follow the template that I'm putting on the announcement board, that's why I'm making it easy for you, because I keep mentioning that the template. Make sure everything is nice and neat in APA formatting, nice and neat scholarly writing for your content when you're presenting it. Okay, present your content nice and neat. I can see all your extrapolation. I can see your deductive reasoning. I can see that you gave your reasoning because you have in-text citation that validates your deductive reasoning, which you came up with. Thus, your inference in your conclusion section now coincides with your overall summation. Thus, the conclusion, thus your inference from everything that you did. Okay, and there you go. And then your reference page. That is a nice scholarly piece of work of your content, and you articulate it very nicely. Okay, guys, that's going to be pretty much it for lecture 4.4. You guys have a wonderful, wonderful week 1. I'm here whenever you need me via email. feel free to shoot me a note if you need me, right? I don't mind anytime. Feel free to call me within my office hours if you need to give me a call. I'm always readily available within that time frame of my office hours, okay? So have a great, great week. Again, I'm Dr. Mark. Now you know me. I look forward to your introduction so I can get to know you. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.